Do you need a library to make it work?
Yes.
Which library you will go for?
For assertions,
For implementing page object component interactions, which library will you go for?
Python is good. Say Selenium.
Okay, l-
Playwright.
let-
Library. Sorry.
let's choose the programming language first, right? So we'll involve language first. Core stack, right? Stack would be what language you want to work with. So which language you want to go for and why? What will be the decision pointers of you deciding something?
Language basically will decide on two factors, like let's say expertise on the particular language as an individual, a second, like which supports the, let's say, the both, like basically it's feasible for all the like backend UI and let's say for non-functional also, like if it contains, it goes with all of the three, and it's feasible also and easy to maintain.
Just a second, folks. I'll just come back. So sorry, where were we? Why are we choosing a programming language or why are we choosing a library? What are your thought pointers? Why will we go about it?
So we'll check what is the application stack, and we'll also check what the team is specialized in. Together, based on that, we'll make a decision.
Okay. So assume we are choosing Python for it. Now, which library will you go for?
Selenium.
Okay, why Selenium? Why Playwright? You know all of those pointers, right?
Hmm.
Okay. Assuming you know and understand that, you will build around your actions, right? Actions will be typically your interactions where you tap on login button, you fill your password, email, you go to dashboard page, you click on something, all your unit flows. Component interactions will be when you log in, you click on add to cart or you create a user or create an admin. That will be your component interaction. Your end-to-end scripts will be the complete flow cycle. You log in, you place order. That's from a customer perspective. From an admin perspective of our application, you log in, you check orders, you check customer details, you check what you have to ship, all of the cycles that you will define as test case. That will be your end-to-end flows, right? To make it all work, you will need some sort of wrappers on what weight styles. Because if you're using Selenium, you will need explicit or implicit weights, right? So you will work on that. If you're working with Playwright, it has naturally asynchronous working fashion. So you don't need these weights. By default, it will work for you. So this will be subjective depending on your library. What else will be part of your UI? What is the core component that we are missing as part of our UI right now? What is the core component?
Your configs.
That's subjective, no? Configs, we define that will
Assertion.
be at the helper util level. So we are
Assertion.
okay, assertion is also important. What library will you choose? You know that or you don't? There is something else key that you are missing right now. You have listed down every single thing that is part of UI but the core component. What do you do in UI test?
Your YAML, like I have a
It's see when the times when you should be thinking from basics, you're not talking about the basics and key aspects, and when you should not be talking about it, you are mentioning all of the times. What is the key object that we are missing in UI interaction? What is missing? You have everything. You have page object model defined, design pattern is done. You have your end-to-end cases, you have your library wrappers, you have your test assertions, everything is sorted. What is missing now? If you don't have browsers, where will you run? Which browsers you're supposed to run? How will you decide? Do you know that? Which browsers you're supposed to run? Is it a default or conscious choice of just running on Chrome and making it pass for all of the browsers, or do you take data into consideration and then decide if you should be running on Chrome versus Firefox versus Safari?
You
Is there
take
a
it into consideration from the analytics team, like to understand where your application will be more prominently used.
okay?
web drivers we can get.
Do you do that discussion very frequently in your teams, or you guys don't?
Not frequently. Very
Okay.
occasionally during some meetings, we get to know certain things, but not a detailed discussion regarding all this.
Okay. So you kind of depend on the geography where you are serving, the user data that you are seeding or storing with you, and then that serves as your analytics. And then between your product and engineering, you take a choice of where you want to run, how stable your execution is, interpretation of JavaScript, of code, of execution, of your library, parsing these requests and keychains or chain commands is different from browser to browser. So the number of factors that goes beyond just the factor of running on Chrome, Firefox, or Safari. So if you're not part of those conversations, try and raise these as clarification pointers to your leads, managers, whoever is taking this call. Let's come to the backend. So you need your API clients, right? API clients will be what? Wrappers. If you are working with Python, what will be the wrapper on Python? Do you know that? So you need REST-based wrappers for your request library so that you can work on it, right? And naturally, it works with HTTP. So whatever is it that you're trying to implement, you will have to write the core wrapper itself, which can give you get, put, post, delete sort of capability. When you do that, you also want sequential backoffs. What are sequential backoffs? Any idea? What happens if on the first attempt of your API call, you get 4xx or 5xx? Let's say 5xx, 4xx so will be like a token related or user related issue. If you get a 5xx, what is it that you will do?
Reload it once again and try once.
And how many times do you try? How do you decide that?
Depend, like maybe you can keep a wait for it, like
Yeah, so that essentially is your sequential backup. That if your API execution or API hit fails the first time, you wait for, let's say, 5 odd seconds, you retry couple of more times, and each time you have a 5 second delay to ensure your backend spins up or the dependency that you have is resolved, and you try. If beyond a certain threshold it fails, you want to move to the next level. That is your sequential backup. How many times you retry? That is essentially what you are going to define in your API clients. Request building, mein, what is it that you will do? What else is part of payload, params, headers, anything else that is part of it?
Endpoint.
Images and files is technically part of your payload, but I'll just mention it. Anything else that you do at time of building request? See, understand one thing. Whenever we are doing UI segregation or backend segregation, at no point we are mentioning environment related details, because that is exactly supposed to come from your environment related dependencies or configs. So if I say run it on staging, by default, my wrappers will invoke the staging URL or QA URL or integration URL. So I should not be bothered about how I'm designing my environment related dependencies in the framework core implementation. It should never be a point of contention. Response parsing, mein, what is it that we will do?
Your status code, your
Is code, schema,
Body.
key value,
Yeah.
what else?
response text too.
Sorry? Offsets or paginations, whatever you call it. Anything else that you will validate as part of your response parsing? Anything that we are missing from backend perspective till this layer?
No.
Okay, if we have to extend the non-functional layer, what is it that